So let's just start with a simple question. I want you to think about the world right outside your door. Have you ever really stopped and wondered why your town is laid out the way it is? Why are the houses here, but the stores are all the way over there?
Well, the answer, it turns out, is almost never random. See, our communities are built around this, well, you could call it an invisible skeleton. It's a framework of public facilities that basically dictates where we live, where we work, and how our towns are going to grow for decades to come.
So, what exactly is this invisible skeleton we're talking about? Let's really break it down.
And we're talking about more than just pipes and pavement, right? Public facilities. They're the physical systems a local government can actually directly build and control. Think about that. They're the single most powerful tools a community has to turn some grand vision for the future into a physical, tangible reality.
Okay, and this is where it gets really powerful. Because these pipes and this pavement, they don't just serve the communities that are already there. Nope, they actively create new ones.
Just put yourself in a developer's shoes for a second. What are they looking for? They are actively hunting for land that's easy to get to, good road access, and, this is the big one, is already connected to sewer and water lines. So imagine a town extends those service lines out into a totally empty field. What have they just done? They've basically put up a giant flashing neon sign that says, "Hey, build here."
And listen, this isn't some random side effect. It's a fundamental rule of how our communities get built. It's almost a law of nature. Where the pipes and pavement go, new housing, new shopping centers, you name it, entire neighborhoods are absolutely going to follow. But, and this is a big but, this whole process brings up a classic conflict, a natural tension in how our towns are built. It's really a tale of two very different mindsets. You've got the planner and you've got the engineer. So, on the one hand, you've got your community planners. They're thinking about the big picture, right? What's this place going to look like in 20 years? What about quality of life? Is the growth logical? Then, on the other hand, you've got the engineers. Their main mission? Efficiency. It's all about providing service where it's needed and doing it in the most cost-effective way possible.
So here's the problem. The most efficient route for a new sewer line might not be the most logical place for new housing to go. And when these two goals don't line up, well, you get these crazy unintended consequences that can be super expensive.
So check this out. This town, it had very little population growth. Things were pretty stable. And yet, all of a sudden, they were forced to build two, not one, but two brand new multi-million-dollar fire stations.
So you're asking why? What happened?
Well, the engineering department, for what were perfectly good technical reasons, decided to extend one single sewer line way out to this remote airport industrial park. And, just like we talked about, development followed that line. But what it created was this long, thin, kind of weirdly shaped growth pattern. And the town's existing fire stations, they were all centrally located. They just couldn't reach these new areas effectively. So the town had no choice. It was forced to build two new stations just to service this strange shape that it never, ever intended to have in the first place. And that right there brings us to the most crucial point of all of this. There is a much, much smarter way to plan, and it all comes down to integrating these two different perspectives before a single shovel ever hits the ground. I mean, here's a simple but really powerful example. Just plan with gravity. It sounds obvious, right? Sewer and water systems, they work best when they're all in a single drainage basin. So if a community prioritizes growth inside those natural boundaries, they can avoid building all these expensive pumps and new treatment plants. We're talking about saving taxpayers an absolute fortune. And hey, it's the exact same logic for roads. Engineers have this grading system for traffic flow called level of service. It goes from A, which is a totally wide open road, all the way down to F, which is, you know what that is, it's a parking lot. Now, your first instinct is to think the goal should always be A, right? But let's be real. Is it worth spending millions upon millions of taxpayer dollars to build a massive road just so it's free-flowing for that 45-minute rush hour in the morning? Maybe not. Smart planning might mean saying, you know what, we can live with a CRD for that little slice of time to keep our roads reasonably sized and our taxes way lower. This whole idea is part of a bigger strategy. It's called Transportation Demand Management, or TDM for short. And the whole point is, instead of just endlessly building more and bigger roads, which, by the way, studies show often just fills up with more cars anyway, the goal is to manage the demand itself. You use clever policies to spread that traffic out over time.
Okay, so let's zoom out. What's the big takeaway here? Why should you care? Why does understanding this invisible blueprint of pipes and pavement actually matter to you?
Because these decisions, which might seem kind of boring on the surface, infrastructure, they have massive long-term consequences. We're talking about your town's financial health, your daily quality of life, and the very character of the place you call home. At the end of the day, good planning creates efficient, cohesive communities. Bad planning, that creates sprawling, expensive, and totally disconnected messes.
So when you boil it all down, integrating the engineer's practical, on-the-ground know-how with the planner's big-picture, long-term vision, well, that isn't just some nice idea. It's the only cost-effective and practical way to build communities that actually work for us today and are financially sound for our kids tomorrow. So here's my challenge to you. The next time you're driving around and you see a new road project or a crew digging a trench for a new utility line, I want you to ask yourself, what invisible blueprint is that project following? And maybe more importantly, where is that blueprint leading all of us?